Speaker, tonight I want to talk about our universities and specifically about HECS, or HELP as it's formally known. For people who entered university in the 90s, and that decade included me entering university, and ever since then, HECS has made university study possible. It has made going to university a reality, particularly for people who may otherwise have struggled to be able to pay or who may not otherwise have considered university as an option. And the data we have from the introduction of HECS in that time shows us this. It shows that it has expanded the number of people in Australia who have received a university education and who have received all the benefits that come with a university education. HECS has made a difference, helping more people to go to university. But we do also know that for many people today, HECS is not working as well as it perhaps should be, and for many people today, it can feel unfair. I have heard this from my community, in particular from younger people who are currently studying or who finished their studies in the past few years, and I've also heard it from their parents and from their grandparents who look at the situation for young people now and wonder about what a HECS debt burden is going to mean for their future. And what people are telling me is that paying off a HECS debt is arguably harder than it has been in the past. Because what we are seeing now is that while HECS is still helping people get to university, gain the qualifications they need for a better future, gain the qualifications that help all of us in our community, people often are left with a debt in the tens of thousands of dollars. And they are then facing repayments in an environment where indexation can sometimes mean less of a net reduction in the debt. And when you consider that many of those with HECS debts are also often looking at paying them back at the same time that they're considering saving for a home deposit, or they're paying rent, or they might be trying to establish a family, it is understandable that young people today feel like paying off their HECS debt will take forever, in a way that I think it didn't feel quite as burdensome for previous generations of graduates. So I'm very grateful to all the locals who have shared with me their experiences and their fears about the current situation with HECS and what that might mean for future students and their willingness to be able to go to university and to take on a level of debt. And I'm confident that the Minister for Education has heard these concerns as well. And again, I was very grateful to have the opportunity to catch up with him last week and to let him know about what people in my community are telling me about HECS. I know the Minister is keen to ensure our tertiary education system is working as well as it can be, with fairness at its core. It is a timely time to have this discussion about HECS, because only last month the government and the Minister released the final report into the Australian Universities Accord. This report was led by an expert panel appointed by the Minister to do the work on a year-long review into higher education. And the Accord has considered the challenges that universities are facing, the short, medium and long-term opportunities that we need to take on these challenges and to make sure that Australia's higher education sector thrives into the future. And the report did examine HECS, and it found that some aspects of the system are due for a change, saying that higher student contribution amounts have significantly and unfairly increased what students repay. The Accord panel expressed their concerns that with the HECS system as it is, there is a real risk that some people will be deterred from going to university at all, at exactly the time when we actually need a growth in participation, a growth in the number of people going to university. The Accord report tells us that by the middle of this century, 80% of people will need to have some form of tertiary qualification so that they can be prepared for the jobs that will see them through their working life. So there is work to do. We currently sit at around 60%. We need to move to that 80% mark. And we need to make sure that as we do that, we address the barriers that are impacting the participation of people from low socioeconomic status backgrounds, people from regional and rural areas, people with disability and First Nations people. I know the Minister for Education is giving the Accord report a lot of thought. I know he is looking to the long term about how we make our university system fairer, about how we set it up so that we are helping young people to get the qualifications they need to have the best possible future. And we're doing so in an environment where we understand that young people want to feel like they are being supported to get ahead, that they are being supported with their cost of living issues. And I look forward to continuing to work with the Minister on supporting him as he does this important reform.